the ultimate daddy who kept us nice and fed this weekend, Nico motherfucking Rosberg.
He's like an old three-legged dog.
When Max went off in quali, I was like, yes, dude.
He bleeds.
There's something kind of existential about leading a race.
Daniel Ricciardo later was like, yeah, I'm not going to talk about, I could say like something really bad about Lance Stroll, but fuck that guy. What's up, Vankers?
Hello, Venkas!
How is everybody doing?
How are you doing? What time did you watch this race, huh? Did you watch it in real time, or did you watch it like me, hungover this morning, and I said, what a snoozer, baby, what a snoozer. And you know what I said this morning? I said, hey, you know what? Thank God for sprint races. Thank God for a sprint race. For all the fucking sprint race. I just don't get it, because every sprint race fucking slaps. This sprint race slapped. That's all I want to talk. I don't want to talk about the actual race, other than the fact that Lando Norris is a fucking god. I want to talk about the sprint race, even though
Lando Norris was less than god.
Actually, just kidding. All I want to do is talk about the real race, because it was a good race for Lando, not the sprint race where it was a rough race for Lando. But no, the sprint race was incredible. Incredible.
Hey, can we? I want you guys to look back in history, right? And think about people that said, I don't like change. Change is bad.
Right.
Those people, they don't tend to age well.
Yeah.
The older people that say, what are all these exciting changes that are happening? Oh, this looks different. I don't like this.
Right.
Just remember how history remembers, you fucking pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Okay?
Dude,
that's what it is. It's people who don't like change, and people who, when their dick worked better, preferred it. Just their lives were better then, right?
Yeah.
So they liked it. It's like they conflate being younger and happier with like the F1 being better, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's like you were just younger and happier, and everything was new and fresh to you. Now you're old and cynical, and even a new and exciting thing seems shitty when it's just objectively not. We're like, the sprint race has just always hit.
It always hit. They always fucking hit, and even when they're bad, they still kind of hit. They just, the times are fucking to change. Come gather round, fucking gatekeepers, wherever you roam, and admit that Formula One has grown, and accept that soon no one will give a shit about what you have to say, because the times they are a changing, bitch. That's right, baby. Yeah. I was thinking, like, you were like, there was just so many ups and downs this weekend with the sprint race. I mean, Lewis Hamilton, podium, fighting for a win of the sprint. Then tale of
two cities, basically, right? Tale of two halves, right?
Yeah. Then later that day, because they did qualifying that same day, out in Q1. I mean, that was fucking crazy.
Yeah. But then he's complaining about the setup. He's like, I thought the setup couldn't get any worse. I'm like, why are you fucking with the setup? You put it on pole almost.
Yeah.
And then you were leading the sprint race, and then you're like, fuck, the setup sucked.
Yeah.
And then he fucks with the setup, and he gets knocked out in Q1, and he goes, just when I thought it couldn't get worse. And then he said, shit happens. And Gruffy was like, sorry about that language to young people at home. I'm like, what is his deal? If it ain't, literally wasn't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
But, he's always trying to hit a grand slam. He's not okay with just a double or a triple.
Right. No, this weekend there was a lot going on, but this race was kind of boring. But you know what made this weekend incredible? Nico Rosberg, dude. Okay, now on to the ultimate daddy who kept us nice and fed this weekend, Nico motherfucking Rosberg.
Yeah, when Brundle didn't show up, I mean, Brundle's been missing. He hasn't been showing up for I think Australia. I think some of maybe the farther flung races. He's like, I'm not going to Japan. I'm not going to Australia. Not going to China. Maybe I'll link up with you back in Europe. Maybe.
Yeah,
that's probably the vibe at this. I'll see you in Europe probably. Yeah. And the people they've replaced him with, I don't honestly remember their names because they've been meh. Yeah. I think Karun is okay. They've cycled in a few people that are fine, but they put Nico in, and I was like, damn. Damn, this is the heir apparent to Martin Brundle. Because Martin Brundle, while more polished than Nico, they both have like this sassy, bitchy edge to them that is so necessary. You need a sassy, bitchy edge to go with Crofty's just
exuberance,
fluffiness.
Yeah, yeah.
You need like a little edgelord, a little bitchy edgelord, and Crofty is always. He did it more with. I mean, you could tell he was kind of lion taming him a little bit. He was like, "Whoa, Nico, Jesus," and like he was a little bit. He was a little bit like me and you, where he was like, I think everyone should get points. From 1 to 20, everyone should get points. And Nico's like, "Fuck that! You don't make it to the top 10. Getting points should be hard, bitch."
Totally. No, there were a bunch of times today where like Crofty was like said something and then Nico was like, "No, I don't think that's it, Crofty." I was like, "Damn, dude."
No, but. He's like, no butting. Everything Crofty's saying. He's not quite TV ready, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful and he's authentic. And he's got like, and he loves to, he's like, it's like nobody. He's that meme where it's like nobody and then it says a random thing. It's nobody. Yeah. Oh, Lewis Hamilton. Oh God, what's going on with him? It's like, let's just remind everybody that Lewis Hamilton's at P12. Jesus, what the fuck happened to this guy?
Well, he does this crazy thing with Lewis where it's like if Lewis is doing well, he's like, let's remember, like, wow, Lewis is the greatest. He's really, really incredible stuff from Lewis. Incredible driver. And I beat him. Let's remember, greatest of all time, right? And remember, I beat him in 2016. But then when Lewis is doing bad, he's like, wow. And what a weekend for Nico to be commenting on Lewis's performance. What a weekend for that.
Oh, and when Lewis was in the lead, and I think it was Max that went through. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, you gotta close the door, just a bit. You gotta close the door. You didn't quite close the door." Oh, Lewis.
Because let's remember that like Nico. What's also great about Nico's commentary is that he could still be driving. Like he
totally could still be driving.
Nico could fully still be on the grid if he wanted to. But he's chosen to not, and I think that he does have like a deeper understanding of like the modern F1 car.
He's like a Carlos.
Yeah, but like
the way he was talking about it technically, he's like, oh yeah, he fucked up the differential there. You could see it. He's just like I'm like, he knows his shit.
Yeah, well, he called Lando's fucking bad start because Lando at the start of the sprint had like when they started, he did like a kind of burnout and had wheel spin. And Nico like immediately was like, "Oh no, oh that's not good. That's bad. He just left a ton of rubber right there. That's not good." And then Crofty's like, "All right, well he's still in second, so he's on pole. Like, so you think?" And then he's like, "It's just that's not looking great for Lando." And I was like, "Shut up, Nico! Shut up, Nico!" And then immediately it's like,
but here's the thing. But then he blew Lando on. It's not like he just calls it how he sees it. Like
right?
He blew Lando on.
He doesn't
Sunday.
he's not like he's not making something up. He saw that Lando fucked that up, and then Lando got a bad start, and then didn't have grip, and then fucking went off. So it's like he just saw it. Like he saw it 5 plays before it happened.
He's he's a little bit. I think the bloom has come off the rose on this guy a little bit, but. Fuck, quarterback for the Cowboys.
Current? Dak Prescott?
No, but he calls games now.
Oh, Tony Romo.
Tony Romo. When he came on the scene, everyone was like, holy shit, he's so smart, he's so... But now everybody hates Tony Romo.
Yeah, now everyone hates Tony Romo.
Hates Tony Romo?
Well,
they find him obnoxious.
Yeah.
But he can be like, oh, they're masking. They're going to go into a cover 3. Right. And then this is what's going to happen. It's a little bit like that. But he's also just he's so smart while also being so catty and so bitchy and so unhinged.
Yes.
But he's also just such a fanboy. Like it's loved it. Like one of my favorite parts of the whole. I mean, I'm cutting ahead here, but I don't care.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of the whole race, I think, was watching Fernando Alonso. He just had the best race. Like it was it was a chaotic race. Like
yes.
He sent it on the outside like a motherfucker.
Oh, I was like,
it just seemed like
yes, dude.
It just seemed like he had some cheat code in the video game,
totally,
where he had just way more grip than everybody else.
Yes,
and he just sent it on the outside.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh my god, I was coming in my pants.
That turn one, dude.
Yeah,
that turn one is so fucking sick, and then Alonso just fucking hit it exactly how you want someone to hit it.
Yeah, it was like a video game. It looked like a fucking video game where he had like traction control on. He had traction support. He had all the helpers on and nobody else did. That's what it fucking looked like. Yeah. And then they put him on the soft when they shouldn't have, and then they had to like pit him and then put him on fresh tires, and they've like totally fucked his race. But he's like he's like an old 3-legged dog that's still like running and won't be stopped. He's like, and then when he hit the fucking dirt, which is the same spot that Carlos Sainz hit the dirt in qualifying and didn't completely wreck. He spun, hit the wall, and everyone was like, wow, Carlos Sainz, what a great driver for that save there.
That save was incredible.
Was deep-throated Carlos Sainz for like just crashing.
Right.
Whereas like he made the exact same mistake and then at almost double the age, corrected it so much better. and then they show and Nico Rosberg.
Yeah.
That was the money shot of the weekend. Because Nico Rosberg, I wrote it down, he went, oh, full opposite luck. He just run because Nando just went. He just was like, boom, like he just quickly just went like this, like, and his reflexes are like it's like it's Mr. Crazy. Miyagi with the fucking fly and the chopsticks.
Mm-hmm.
Quick, old guy quickness. It was so, and the dust chalk flew up. Yeah, and he's like nothing. He was fucking Javier Bardem limping in No Country for Old Men, like after the explosion. Like nothing was fucking stopping this guy this weekend. Relentless. And the combination of like Alonso was doing amazing.
Yes.
And Nico captured that, because there's that like that's what you want in a commentator, is to like bring life to a magical moment, and he brought life to a magical moment of Alonso fighting for P8. Like, yes, like one of the reasons I don't like Joe Buck is Joe Buck, for example. Joe Buck is a great announcer. He's got a great velvety voice. Yeah, but I remember watching the helmet catch. I'm a big Giants fan. That helmet catch where Eli Manning, not an athletic or mobile quarterback, escapes like 3 Eagles.
Patriots.
Escapes Patriots. Sorry, Patriots lineman escapes, shuffles out of it. First of all, that was amazing. You're like, holy shit! Eli Manning actually got out of a sack. That never happens. He turned into Michael Vick for one play, and then launches it down the field. And then David Tyree, who is this fucking journeyman practice squad guy, catches the ball on his fucking helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Buck goes, Eli Manning gets away and throws it over the middle, and David Tyree with the catch brings it down. And you're like,
that's what you did with that?
That's what you did with that? It's like,
with the greatest catch in the Super Bowl history? Yes, that's what you did with that?
That's what you did with that. Nico rises to the occasion of the moment. And I just really appreciate, and you could tell he loves it. He loves doing it.
He fucking loves it. But he was also, it was funny because Crofty was trying to spin Alonso's race is but look how great he's doing now. And Nico was like, yeah, but it's still not as good as he would have done if they didn't give him that shitty strategy. So, I mean, that strategy, I don't know what they were thinking with that strategy.
Did they think the soft could last longer or what?
I guess. I mean, right?
I don't understand it. They got caught out by that other. They didn't expect another safety car, and they were like, oh. Isn't this a gift? We'll throw the softs on. I didn't really understand it.
Right.
The other thing that I loved that Nico did was he's just so bitchy. Like he was complaining about like what his producers made him do.
Yeah.
Like there was amazing when you watch qualifying. He was like, "Yeah, I don't have much to say because I just want to talk about the sprint, but I'm not allowed to apparently." Like fuck that. Like,
right.
Because he's like, well, and then Croft is like, well, the sprint was on at a weird time for people back in England, so maybe they haven't seen it. And he's like, yeah, but come on, like fuck.
How are we?
And he was just like kind of quiet, like he was just kind of pouting about. He's just like, all right, so I'll take you through the lap, I guess, but really, I just want to talk about how fucking litty McTitty that sprint was. Jesus.
Yeah, should we talk about the sprint?
Spoilers.
Let's get into the sprint.
Yeah,
let's get into the fucking sprint. Well, let's get into the sprint quali.
Sprint qualifying. Sprint qualifying.
Sprint quali.
Oh, amazing. See, here's the thing. F1 kind of sucks right now, so you need more darts at the board.
Yes.
To just give us a chance of seeing some cool shit. And we got a fucking cool qualifying session that was covered in rain. Yes. Like China has Shanghai is I mean that place was like edging the whole week. You're like, come on, rain.
Yeah.
That place was like, holy shit, I'm gonna come.
Right,
well, come already. Already. And it busted on. It just happened to bust on sprint qualifying.
Sprint
qualifying. It was
Q2,
fucking
Q3.
awesome. It was fucking awesome, and it was nice to see Lewis Hamilton in his fucking Wellington boots. Knowing how to operate in the rain. Like, let me show these kids how it's done.
The Brits, fucking, with Lando and Lewis came out to play in the rain. It is, it was, what's kind of funny about those, because I watched some of the onboards, and I'm like, it's not so much that they're like they're like just trying to get through the lap. Like the whole time they're just like, like it's really like, they're not pretty laps, those rain laps.
Yeah, Max is like shit.
They're ugly lap. Even Lando's pole lap, it's ugly. Like if you watch the onboard, it's
and he went
ugly
off,
lap.
and they totally fucked that up because they deleted his time and then they put it back.
Well, because he had went off the lap before.
Yeah, which
and
normally
disqualifies
your lap, but for this actually, there were people that are like, oh, they don't read the rules, blah 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 blah.
Right.
And it's actually, the rules depend on the track. So if you get an advantage.
Right.
Then from going wide, then it's scrubbed. If you don't get an advantage, like Lando only fucked himself by going into the whatever the gravel.
Yeah.
He only fucked himself, but it is confusing. And it's sort of like for the viewer, it's like, wait, I thought if you go off that invalidates the next lap. It's like, oh, it's track specific. That's a lot for the fan to track, and clearly for the stewards to track because they were like, yeah, he went off. Fuck him. He's done.
Yeah. Right.
But they should be able to do it. They should know that. I mean, when qualifying comes up, they should be like, okay, so what happens if a guy goes off? Oh, if he goes off in the gravel there, nothing because he's only hurt himself.
Right.
But maybe they should just make it universal. Like you go off it, you're fucked. Fuck you. Because like it's like when it's too complicated, it just remember that NFL rule where like if you go up for a catch and a guy shoves you out, like it's like a judgment call, and then they were like, you know what? It's too complicated. Like if you don't put 2 feet on the ground, you're out.
Yeah, but the whole point of it should be that like you're gaining an advantage. Like that's why a lap should be deleted. Is because you're going by exceeding track limits. You're fucking like you're actually giving yourself an advantage. That's the essence. That's the purpose behind the rule.
Right, but if it's too complicated for the referees to adjudicate it properly.
Yeah, but that's fucking. It's not that fucking complicated.
You know what it is though? It's like I feel like these guys are rotating. It's part time.
Yes,
they don't
it is.
pay for like
100%
professional. They're too cheap to fucking just do it right.
Yeah, I don't get why they don't just have like the stewards are just like just Joe Schmoes a lot of the time. It's like, people who have like bitterness with people, like that there's like, F1 people like, oh, I'm a steward for this race. Thank you. Like you're you're the president and giving someone a fucking, go, being the ambassador to fucking Ireland for me for a bit, one of those things.
Yeah, but, it's crazy. It's like, no, they should have a professional class of referees that have a salary. Yeah. And like, this is all that they do. This is their full-time job.
Yeah.
And they can rotate them. They do that in the NBA. They do that
exactly.
Sporting events.
You can have a roster of 20, 30 people that, do all the races.
But that would be too expensive. Here's
a thought that, when I was watching that, and I'm curious if you have an opinion on this, like, at what point would they use the full wet tires?
Because they were no point anymore.
Why?
It's what they only use the wet tires now, like when it's they're doing like a safety car like formation.
Yeah, because they have to do it, right? It's like in the rules.
They have to have them.
Yeah, I guess I'm like they had no grip. They had no grip. I was watching these onboards and I was like, you're telling me that the fucking full wets couldn't give you a bit more grip, and then you'd have more speed.
The only time the full wets work is like the problem is it's because of the spray. It's like whenever it gets wet enough for those tires to really work, you're not gonna be able to see shit.
Right.
So they red flag the race. That's the problem. It's with the current regulations of car, because in the old days they didn't throw up as much spray, so you could actually drive in like heavier rain. Now you can only drive in like light rain,
right?
So it just never rises to that occasion, unfortunately.
I guess I was just watching these. I was just watching these onboards.
I thought the same thought. I was like, wait, at this
point, you're really telling me that the inters are better on this 2-minute, like they were doing the laps, like quali laps, minute 30 something, like, it was in the minute 30s. So then 30 seconds longer were the fucking rain laps. And I was like, you're telling me that the full wets wouldn't give you a bit more grip, and no one tried it. I was like, come on, get aggressive, use the full wets. Maybe I want to ask Ruth Buscombe about that, but we already talked to her. That'll be next week's episode. But fuck, I need to know what Ruth Buscombe thinks about the full wets. Sitting here as a fucking armchair expert.
But
then the actual race, the actual sprint race.
Yes.
Also incredible. Lando has the bad fucking start. Don't want to talk about that. It's just, let's not focus on that, okay? Lewis has the great start. Then Max slowly fucking jawsing him, just dun-dun, dun-dun. Lewis locks up.
Nice to see him work for it, though.
Amazing. When Max went off in quali, I was like, yes, dude. Yes, dude.
He bleeds.
Truly.
He bleeds. Which is crazy, it rains like a motherfucker over there, too.
Yeah.
He's good in the wet too, apparently.
Right. No, he's great in the wet normally, so you'd think it would have been good for him, but no, the great equalizer.
With the battle with Perez and Charles and Sainz of it.
Dude, no, the fucking obviously Max caught Hamilton, that was, but then like that battle for that podium. Dude, fucking and through goes Perez! Everyone was like, whoa! You know what I mean?
That was amazing.
From that famous clip of like, and through goes Hamilton! The two Spaniards duking it out, Alonso and fucking Carlos. Carlos Sainz was driving angry. He was driving mad, and he was driving immature. He had an immature weekend.
Yeah, he had a reversion to the mean, as I'd like to say.
Yes.
What are Sainz fans saying to me this weekend?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, they don't think about these weekends where he just gets beaten, like resoundingly beaten. And by the way, there should have been people between him and Leclerc. There was enough time. The time difference, like because this is what always happens, is he finishes behind.
Yes.
But he was like 10, 12 seconds behind Leclerc.
Yeah.
And like if Alonso hadn't gotten fucked. Who knows? Piastri hadn't gotten. Piastri was struggling before he got hit, but like There were like players to be slotted in between those two guys
in the actual race.
In the actual race, it had bad luck.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sainz was driving angry. He gave Alonso a puncture, which is unforgivable.
Yep.
And then he ran Leclerc off the fucking road.
Yes.
And Leclerc's radio just was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. That was amazing.
I love him so much. He's just so real. What the fuck? And then he like literally was like, we're going to talk about it internally. I'm not really going to get into it, but he drove me harder than he would drive literally anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I love when they say, yeah, I'm not going to say anything, but I'll say it.
Right.
Daniel Ricciardo later was like, yeah, I'm not going to talk about, I could say like something really bad about Lance Stroll, but fuck that guy.
Literally.
I was like, love his restraint. He must have been so, we want to get into Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo Daniel Ricciardo outqualified Yuki in both sessions.
Yep.
Had a better weekend. I want to just say, how shitty must Williams feel that they are always like down on chassis, and Daniel Ricciardo is just like, I don't like the vibe of this one. Can I just like get a new one? It's just the vibe is wrong with this one, and they're like, we'll get you a new chassis right away. Right. Here you go, Mr. Ricciardo. And you're like, Ricciardo's like, yeah, this one is much better. Whereas like Logan and Albon, like Logan doesn't even have a chassis sometimes. Right. And they're like fucking swapping them out, and they're both like fucking, they look like they're out of a Tim Burton movie at this point. They're so fucked up. Yeah. And Dan Ricciardo's just like, I don't know, like, do we need to get who's the woman who feng shui's everything?
Oh yeah. Marie
Kondo. It's like I need Marie Kondo to come in and just the chi is all off with this chassis.
The vibes are wrong with this chassis. Like, I wore my mood ring, and I put my mood ring on the chassis, and it came up red and black. I don't want that. No.
I knew a rich young woman who her parents bought her a house.
Yeah.
Bought her a house.
Yeah.
And she didn't like the smell of it. So she's like, I don't want to live here. And she just like moved back home. She's like living with her parents, bought her a house, didn't like the smell. Just was like, you know what? Don't want to live in this house.
Right.
That's the vibe when you're at a better team. You can just like, I don't like the vibe of this. And maybe there's something to it because, Yuki was saying this. I mean, he's doing better.
Mm-hmm.
And Yuki was saying similar. I think it was Spanners who was saying like maybe they switched the chassis.
Oh, they gave him Yuki's
because Yuki
chassis.
said the same thing, right? Yuki was like, because after qualifying, Yuki was like, I felt good about this lap. I don't know where the time went. I don't, because I'm listening to Yuki's radios.
Right.
He goes, they're like, you're out. And he goes, I'm out. That lap slapped. Yeah. Which is like the same thing Daniel Ricciardo was saying.
Right.
And they asked Alan Permain. I am so obsessed at this point now. I was watching Yuki's radio the whole like I had two things open the whole time. I had the race and Yuki's onboard the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Which was iconic. It was some eventful radios. But Alan Permain was like, we have no idea. Yuki's lap seemed good. We don't know what happened. So there's something. There might be a ghost in the machine there. A little bit.
Something's fishy. Something's
rotten
rotten
in the state
of Visa Cash App. No, even a bad weekend, obviously, for like an unfortunate weekend for Ricciardo. I mean, that crash. Everyone's blaming Lance Stroll, and I'm kind of like, Ricciardo almost crashed into Piastri.
But he didn't.
I know, but like, that's how pileups happen. Is like, it's like everyone's slow. Like, it's like, oh, I almost crashed into this person. Ricciardo was like literally like, they were all kind of bunching up.
Right. Okay. Ricciardo almost crashed. Yeah.
But Lando, even in the cool down room, was like, "Oh yeah, Max, that was totally your fault, dude." Because of where Max restarted, then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, we're going," and then like everyone's having to slow down right as Max is going. So Max is like, "Oh, this is a great place for me to restart." But then everyone's kind of like, "Oh fuck," and then they all start like bunching up, and then it ends with, I mean, Stroll obviously, Ricciardo almost crashed into Piastri, and then Stroll just fucking boom, went straight in. But he did clip Piastri.
Yeah,
but I think it was.
But he wasn't even looking at me. He was looking, and he didn't even tap me. He went fully like he goes.
Yeah.
Half of him was in me, basically. Like,
Yeah.
like the language he was using was like,
Right.
It wasn't like if it was a fender bender, I think that would have been excusable. But it's just,
No, he went full.
his
bore.
head was facing the other way,
Right.
and then he just rammed into him. I mean, these cars can stop, and that's a breaking point.
Yeah.
Like every cars do slow down there, right? You're hitting the biggest turn in F1.
Right.
So to say, he braked unexpectedly before the biggest turn in F1.
But they all, I guess I'm like, they all did, and they were all bunching up closer. Now, Stroll went too far, obviously, but I don't know. I feel like that was just like a kind of recipe for something happening.
But if this happened to Hülkenberg, or if this happened to Piastri or Zhou, or like guys who don't crash that much.
Yeah. No, things like this always happen.
It's
to
always
Stroll.
fucking him.
It's always Stroll, dude.
Why are you making it hot for your friend Scotty James?
No, I genuinely was kind of like, I was looking at that and I was like, everyone's gonna blame Stroll, but I was like, this is Max, like, cleverly. But like, if you just look at the fucking thing, right? If you just look at the one thing, a house burned down.
But all the other cars concertinaed and none of them hit each other.
But Ricciardo was like this close to hitting fucking Piastri, and then
that's the difference between a good driver and a bad driver. Is guys, there's these thin margins. Why this is such a weird hill for you to die on?
Listen. I'm not saying that Lance Stroll is a fucking great driver, but I'm looking at the larger fucking thing. Oscar, after Lance said that he crashed because drivers ahead suddenly braked. Yes, but everyone else didn't crash into each other. I don't know, dude.
And here's the thing. It's like this. For me, it's like, I'm not saying I could drive a Formula One car, but I could look at the car in front of me and slam on the brakes. I think I could have done that.
I guess as a guy who's been in a few fender benders, I'm like, it's not always that. It's other people's fault.
Yeah, and why did you get in your last fender bender? Because you weren't looking.
Yeah, but
you were looking at the corner.
Yeah,
you were looking at the corner, and you were not looking. I mean, this basic rules of the road. You rear end somebody, it is 100% your fucking fault.
That is true.
1,000% your fault. There's like very, very rarely an instance. He said he brake checked him like going into a corner. Craziness. And it's the lack of accountability from him that's kind of infuriating.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he brake checked me, idiot, fucking moron. It's like,
right.
How is he ever going to learn? How's he?
Right.
Well, he's not. He's been in the sport 8 years, and he's still doing this shit. He's never going to improve if it's always somebody else's fault.
It is so crazy when they crash when like they're not even racing. Remember when didn't he and Latifi have that big crash like in Melbourne?
Monaco? Was it Monaco or Mel?
I think it was in Melbourne.
It was like during practice or
2021 or like it was like someone was doing a flyer and then they crashed during, I think it was during quali, and it was like, how the fuck do you crash at that point? Crazy. But I guess I just like the idea more than that. I just like the idea that like Max started and he's like like in the back of his mind
he was literally laughing.
Yeah, and Lando was like, yeah, like that was like you fucking like you caused some, you like kind of caused that. Because Max was like, let me start at a time where it's gonna fuck everyone the most.
I don't know.
I'm not saying that Lance Stroll is not a fucking idiot. To be clear, who doesn't know how to like not like look at where he should be looking. I just like the idea that Max like was like, let's see if one of these fucking idiots will fuck this up, and they did, and it was Lance.
Yeah, the weak link.
Totally. No, it's crazy. I want to stay on. Let's keep up the Sainz hate for a second.
Of course, but of course. So yeah, he drove like a fucking, like a crazy person in the sprint qualifying race.
Yeah.
He tried to edge Leclerc. He got damaged from tangling with Alonso.
Yep.
So he was a wounded duck. Leclerc tried to pass him. He ran him off the road. I think he might have made some bullshit excuse like he had understeer. Yeah. No, when your teammate's passing you, suddenly you have understeer. Shut the fuck up. And then sprint qualifying, he fucking went into the wall.
Yeah.
He managed to save
and then the luck that this guy has. He's just
managed to save it.
Fucking lucky.
Managed to save it. They managed to fix it, and he managed to slot in. But the amount of, if Logan Sargent had done that, he did spin, but if Logan Sargent had done that exact thing, no one would say, "Oh, look how he managed to avoid destroying the car."
Right.
Talk about getting the benefit of the doubt. You're in Q2 and you fucking hit the dirt, and you pretty much almost the people who saved him were his mechanics.
Right.
They were able to fix his car and get it back in, and he was able to keep the engine running, which, from my understanding, is a difficult thing to do and takes some skill. But they're like, look how skillfully he crashed that car. I'm like, no, the real skill is either not doing it or doing what Alonso fucking did.
Right. Yeah.
Like a fucking champion, a guy who cannot be stopped. Who's a fucking Terminator.
Remember when Max did the 360? Was that last year that Max did the 360?
Might have been 2 years ago.
2 years ago, I think in 2022 he did the 360.
Yeah,
and, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Max has had a few of those where it's where it's just going sideways, and then all of a sudden he just like whips it back, and you're like, holy fuck.
Alonso's done that too. Alonso knows how to save a car because he's always a little on the edge, and he's relies on his like. How they say Pato Award has like quick hands. Like he's really relies on his quick hands to like save him.
But Carlos was fucking driving. He was driving ugly, and it was like unbecoming. I think he's had this he's like, he got the win. How far are and remember when he got the win and he was like, tell Charles to come and let's take this home together, buddy. Come on. Let's get in there, bud. And now
he's reading his own press.
Yeah, he's like, I am the best. He's drinking the Kool-Aid, and he's like, no, I'm the number one driver actually, even though I got fired and I don't know where I'm going next year. I'm actually the number one driver, and threw Leclerc off the road. Leclerc did get a bit of revenge on Sunday.
Well, qualified him and had a better race. So
no, I'm saying beyond that. That's one revenge, but then on track at one point he kind of left it out and then made Carlos go wide at one point. That was a kind of nice little, punch back from Charles. It's nice to see. I was glad to see that little fight back from Charles, because sometimes I worry about that part of him, whether he has it.
I think he's crazy. I think Leclerc is crazy too, but you gotta kind of wake that up in him.
Definitely. No, he needs to be like egged on into a fight. Charles is not like some guys, like that scene in The Town where he comes in and he goes, Ben Affleck comes in, Jeremy Renner, and he says like, I need you to come with me. We're gonna go. We're gonna bring some weapons. We're gonna hurt some people. You can't ask me any questions. We can never talk about this again. And then he goes, "Whose car are we taking?" There are some guys that are ready to fucking go at all times.
That's Max Verstappen. That's Kevin Magnussen, honestly.
Fuck. We'll get into him in a second. That's K-Mag. That's Max. That's Alonso. That's George Russell. That's shockingly George Russell, but it's very much George Russell. But that's not Charles.
But is that not really?
No, Charles needs where are we going? Why am I doing this? I really need to you need to build me up. There's also that there's this trend now where parents go up to their kids and they're like, hey, there's a mom or a dad across the street that wants to fight me, and they have a kid your age, you're another young boy or girl your age. Do you want should they want to fight? Let's go fight. And then some kids are like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. Let's fucking fuck them up. And some kids are like, wait, what? Charles is like, I need to know more. Why? Why?
Did they insult you?
Right.
Yeah. Who's just about that action?
Carlos was testing him today, and then he was ready to fight. And then in the race on Sunday, he fought, which was good to see. No, let's get into fucking K-Mac. I was so mad.
You know what? The thing is, you live by the. We love him all the time, and then he hits Yuki, and then all of a sudden, no, you have to. You live by the K-Mag, you die by the K-Mag.
But do I love him all the time? I like K-Mag.
I like that he gets his elbows out and nobody fucks with him. Or they do fuck with him all the time, and he's like, all right, I guess you're losing your wing then, because...
This would have been... I would have felt differently if it felt like they had really been, racing hard. But it just felt like he did just a dumb lunge, and it fucked Yuki's race.
Yeah, and I was very proud of Yuki. Because luckily I had two cams on. I had the race on, and I saw an RB in the grass, and I went, oh shit! I look at the Yuki cam, and I see it's Yuki.
Yeah,
I see it's Yuki's. I see Yuki's not moving. I go, fuck, it's Yuki.
Yeah. I
just quickly go 10 seconds. I go back 10 seconds. I see
what
happens.
Yeah.
And they didn't play this. They did not play this in the broadcast. Yuki gets hit, goes into the grass, and Yuki just goes, "Yep, dickhead." That's all he said. I'm out. All they played was, I'm out. But he just went, very calmly went, "Yep, dickhead, I'm out." It was just very composed, not screaming. He was, I was very proud of him. He just got out.
So good.
Just was like, what was funny was, when Daniel Ricciardo was like a double tap on fucking RBs. But when Daniel Ricciardo got rear-ended, not too long after, he was like, "What a fucking dickhead."
Yeah.
And he goes, and then Hulkenberg goes past him and he goes, "Let me guess, Hulkenberg?" And they were like, "Let's just focus on," because he was so angry at Hulkenberg, and then he repassed him. He was like, "It's my place. I'm going to take it back." He thought it was Hulkenberg that hit him because he gets hit and then he sees Hulkenberg. So he's really angry at Hulkenberg. And then during the safety car, he takes him back. And then he got this was crazy. He got a fucking 3-place grid penalty
for Miami.
For the next race, which is crazy because if he had just finished the race, they probably would have just given him a 10-second penalty.
Right.
For that. Which would have been fine because it's not like his race was fucked anyway. To get a penalty during a race that you're fucked in is for the next race, which you might actually do well in.
Yeah,
is fucking crazy. And he was mad, man. He could say, "What a fucking asshole." And I've heard a lot of his radios. I've never heard him that angry. I think he's under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
In the McLaren days, he was never like this.
Yeah.
This is his back is against the wall, and he finally started piecing together a decent weekend.
Right.
And then this jackass he rear ends him.
Yeah.
Demoralizing. And he's the most composed guy on the grid. There's nobody more composed. Maybe Carlos Sainz.
But not angry? Even. No, Ricciardo. There's that one clip of him when he was having all the engine failures when they had the Renault engine at Red Bull, and he's walking out. The engine dies, and he's walking back, and he just screams "Fuck!" You seen that clip? That was clip.
And when Max hit him, when Max rear-ended him, he was pretty, or when Max brake checked him, he was pretty fucking pissed.
Right. Yeah.
But on the radio, he seems pretty unflappable.
No, he's very composed. No, he's under a ton of fucking pressure.
Yeah. He knows.
Every day it gets closer and closer, and there's a fucking guillotine blade just hanging, and Helmut Marko's like, when will I cut your head off?
They are clearly not on the same page because, we know this. We know that we know that there's some let's say disagreements among Red Bull management.
Right.
But because, Helmut Marko was like, we can't match Saudi. I love that he does this. I love that he's such a loose cannon. He just says, we who does that? Yeah, we made him an offer, but we can't afford Carlos Sainz.
Right.
Like, what does that mean? You can't. Of course, you can afford him. You just don't want to. You just don't think he's worth whatever Audi's paying him.
Well, because Audi is probably going to give him like a Renault type Ricciardo contract.
Yes.
Where it's just like fuck you money.
Yeah.
And then they have to say like, oh, we're not paying. He's not worth that. That's insane.
Yeah.
But for an outfit like Audi or for an outfit like Renault, had Ricciardo stayed, it was worth it. But instead, Ricciardo just got the bag and was like, "Peace."
They're paying like you're gonna lead this team to the promised land.
And branding exercise, like you're gonna be the face of like this brand. You're gonna be the face of Audi.
He's more valuable to Audi than he is to Red Bull because they're just looking for a number 2 driver.
Yeah.
So I think but it kind of puts pressure on, puts a little pressure on Sainz because it's like, hey, they're kind of outing it like, oh, he got an offer for the Red Bull seat. So it's kind of putting the pressure back on Sainz like, oh, so what's more important to you, winning or money?
Right.
So, and I think it's going to be interesting. What do you think Carlos Sainz is going to choose? I think he's going to choose Audi.
I think he's going to choose Audi.
Because he's been looking for security for so long.
Yeah.
He's bounced from team to team to team to team, and he's just going to take the security. I don't know. After what happened at Ferrari, I don't know if he's going to want to, like, gamble on, like, his charm.
Yeah.
And his sang-froid and his ability to play the game and keep up with Max. I just don't know if he's...
And I wonder if Audi will, like, these teams have a way of, like, selling you a fucking dream.
Well, it's confirmation bias because he wants to believe it. Like,
yes.
Best case scenario, Audi does turn into the new Mercedes, right? Or the new Red Bull.
Yeah.
And then he gets to be the leader of that team.
Totally.
So there's a bias towards that.
Right.
Being true already because he wants that. Like, he would much rather be... What's more realistic is he's choosing between being the number 1 at, like, Alpine right now, because that's how it's probably going to start. It's going to be rough.
Right.
Or number 2 at Red Bull, which is probably a more difficult decision.
Right.
But he's like, no, I could be number 1 at the next Mercedes.
Right.
Could be number 1 or number 2 at Red Bull.
But didn't Christian say that like they hadn't made him an offer? Wasn't there like conflicting...
No, Helmut Marko's like, I think the implication is like, we just can't match that offer.
We heard about Audi's offer and we're like, oh well, we can't compete with that.
But isn't the implication there that they made him an offer and Audi like doubled it or tripled it or whatever?
I guess is that what the implication is, or is that they heard about Audi's offer and they're just like, oh, we're not even going to throw our hats into the ring because it would be insulting.
So according to our producer Jenny, Helmut on Carlos and Red Bull Audi, he told an Austrian paper Kleine Zeitung this about Carlos. We're talking to him. He's having his strongest season in Formula One, but he has a very lucrative offer from Audi that we can't match or beat. So they've made him an offer. That's it. And then Christian contradicted Marko. At this point in time, we're very happy with the lineup we have. So there's no imminent rush to announce drivers, which doesn't make sense. You're happy with the lineup we have, so there's no imminent rush. What does that mean? Like,
they're not announcing. I mean, I think Christian wants to keep Christian wants two things. He wants to keep Checo, and he's still
but he also
holding
wants to keep the.
Or he's.
Yes.
I think he's probably let go of the Danny dream, but I think like in Christian's perfect world, Danny's like he can do the handoff from Checo to Danny because of the numbies, because of the business, prospects
and the narrative.
of these guys.
And Danny is his guy.
And I think he likes Checo, but part of why I like Checo is because of Checo's humongous fucking fan base, and I think he sees the value in that in a way that like Marco's like, I don't care.
But if he's so happy with his driver line, but here's what doesn't make sense.
Right.
If he's so happy with his driver lineup, why doesn't he just announce Checo then?
Because he's not that happy with it. He's like,
right.
He's still holding out for Danny. He's not dying to have Carlos Sainz. I think in Christian's mind, he'd rather have Checo than Carlos Sainz.
As far as other drivers, I mean, it's pure speculation. We have no idea if and what Audi have offered Carlos, and who is a key driver that's on the open market.
Who is a key driver?
Who is a key driver? I can't read. It's only natural that there's going to be significant interest, and I'm sure Audi would be foolish not to consider a driver of his quality amongst others that have seats available, but it would be improper to disclose. Meaning, shut the fuck up, helmet! Shut the fuck up! But what's crazy is like, just because Christian is like, I haven't made Carlos an offer, doesn't mean Helmut didn't make him an offer.
Yeah, sure.
Like, these guys are not necessarily on the same fucking page. There was rumors that Helmut like went in because he is a lawyer. He's a doctor in law. He might have gone in and added a key man clause, and a key man clause means like, okay, you and I have a deal, but if so and so leaves, then I'm out. Right? They're like sort of the whole deal is sort of contingent on this person. That Helmut might have gone in and surreptitiously added a key man clause into Max's driver contract, which means that like makes Helmut basically unfireable, and Max might have signed it.
Right.
So basically, Helmut and Christian both have power of signature because they're both like kind of leaders of that team. So it's kind of like I could go and well, I don't know, not technically, but that would be like if I went and I signed, Brian, don't get mad at me, but I got Nico Rosberg on the pod.
Right.
He's $100,000 an episode. I think he's gonna be worth it.
Right.
And I already signed the contract, and you were like, "What?"
Right.
That's kind of what's going on here a little bit.
Yeah.
But Carlos Sainz, he has flashes. Sometimes he has his moments, but like let's just take a deep breath and see where he's at the end of the season.
Yeah. And
be rational.
Keep up the Sainz hate. What else? Let's give some flowers to my boy Lando Norris. Let's give some flowers to him. Fucking great weekend. We were worried about we love Oscar.
He flubbed the start. He
flubbed the start of the sprint, but then he came back strong.
Got run wide. Got absolutely bullied.
But who would you say had a better weekend, Lando or Lewis Hamilton?
Of course, Lando had a better weekend, but he had an opportunity to. We have one. We only have one. We have one knock on this guy at this point.
Yeah.
Can he win a race?
Yeah, it's fucking true.
Does he got that dog in him? That's the only thing we got, and he I can't even really like hate on him anymore.
Yeah.
Right? I can't even do it.
I know you were all pumped. You're like, Piastri's gonna fucking come for the crowd. No one's gonna give a fuck about Lando Norris.
Whoa. We gotta be careful. We have a very
No, listen.
We love Piastri.
Oscar Piastri's a fucking amazing fucking talent.
People to Piastri listening to this pod. We love him.
And we fucking love him.
Yes.
We love him. Does he need to figure out how to make his tires last?
Absolutely.
Yes, he does. He does need to figure out how to make his tires last. That is the one thing.
Well, when you're young, endurance is something that you have to learn.
That's true. I used
being
to
a young
pray.
gun.
I didn't pray much because God as a concept and as a practice wasn't really a big part of my life. But when I was a young man, I used to pray for one thing and one thing only. And it was to not premature ejaculate. Okay, that's what I remember.
I feel like
literally praying for that, Matt. I remember praying.
You would pray not to prematurely ejaculate.
I would say like, please, like this is it was the most embarrassing thing ever to me. I was like, I'm not a man. I'm just a little boy, which was my, I was a tiny kid. So it was like even more evidence of that. And I was like, please, one day, I just thought, let this not be an issue for my whole life. And now I say, please, God, can I come?
Please, God, can I come? Can I come in a reasonable time frame?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like the evolution is like, God, I wish I could last longer.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, oh, can we fucking hurry this up? Jesus Christ.
100%.
Who's got time for this?
But that's because
shit?
endurance comes with age. So, Oscar's a young guy. He has plenty of time to figure that out. But, no, your point stands about when Lando's faced with the prospects of winning a race, he freaks the fuck out. I mean, he freaks out. He does not know what to do with himself when that carrot when there's no one in front of him and it's just him out there. He's leading. He literally is like, he short circuits. He does not know what to do.
It's crazy. It's like it's a little bit like I remember me and my girlfriend were driving a Big Bear and it was really foggy, and it's like really helpful when you have a car in front of you and it's foggy and raining. It's like nice to have a car in front of you.
Right.
When you're in the lead, you're like, it's just you out there.
Right.
And this car is behind you and you're driving too slow, and it's like, it's nice to just follow a car.
Right.
It's nice.
There's a kind of interesting thought. There's something kind of existential about leading a race.
Everybody's chasing you.
Everyone's chasing you, and you don't see them. It's just fucking you. And when you're
alone with your thoughts.
Yeah. Dude, when was the last time there's this great Mark Norman has this joke where he's like he's like, I left my house without my headphones yesterday. He's like, woo, thoughts are bad. Like, my brain sucks. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what it is?
Mm-hmm.
It's getting what you want, right? It's like, and then having to live in what you want. Because like, here's the thing. It's like, I remember like when I moved out to LA, I was like, I told everybody this.
Yeah.
I called my shot. I said, if I sell a television show,
yes,
I will never complain.
Yep.
Once I just got to sell a pilot, and then life will be good.
Everything you told me this. Out. You told me this. You said to me, I'll never complain about something ever again if I sell this show.
About you. And you give yourself like this carrot.
Yeah.
And then once you're like, you get the carrot, then you're like, what? And then you eat it. Then you're like, well, who the fuck am I?
Right.
Like you got nothing left. You're just then you're just alone. Then it's like the hierarchy of needs things, right?
Yeah.
It's like once you start getting the essential things, and there's something nice about chasing the carrot, chasing the rabbit, right? That there's a distraction in chasing the rabbit.
Right.
But when you have no rabbit, when it's just you and your fucking thoughts, and the rabbit, you don't have the rabbit or the carrot to distract you. It could be quite unnerving, and to just be chasing the rabbit and the carrot like for your whole career, and then for a minute there's no carrot, there's no rabbit. And then in racing you become the rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the rabbit. You become the fucking rabbit. You are the guy from the Axe commercial that everybody's fucking chasing.
Yeah.
You become the hunter to the hunted.
Right. Yeah, fucks with your head. How could it
fucks
not?
With your head.
And just the like image of like you're alone. Because it's like you can figure out who you are in relation to other people. Like I'm doing this play right now at the Public Theater in New York, and like I was so excited going into this play.
Jenny, cut that. It's so fucking pretentious.
Don't cut that.
I'm kidding. It was a joke.
It is pretentious, and I am a pretentious actor. Anyway, but I was like so excited going into it. For one of the reasons I was excited going into it, I was like, this is what's going to be so nice about this is that I'm going to have like a lot of time with this group of people, and like I know how to like I get a lot of like it's easy for me to like figure out where I sit within a hierarchy of a room. I'm like, here are the people. Here are the people who are my bosses. Here are the people who are like my castmates, the crew. Like I feel like I know how to like fit into like a puzzle that's laid out for me. right? It's kind of like doing something creative when you have a bunch of limitations. It's like, okay, you only have like these sticks and these
A writing prompt.
A writing prompt. It's something to like ground yourself in. And I can like figure out how to do that. I feel like being in the mid pack. We were talking about like because we talked this with in our Patreon episode about Yuki. How Yuki said that he likes to like just be alone, like no one around him, just put in laps and just like that's what he likes to do. And he doesn't like being
he's a champion.
Because he actually, if Yuki was in front, I feel like he'd fucking he would crush it. But he spends his whole fucking career like in the fucking shit with people. When I think about racing, in my delusional brain, where I thought I could have been an F1 driver at some point if my life had been different.
You'd want to be in the midfield.
I want to just be fucking with people. Like I know that guy. I want to fuck with him. Like I want to get in people's heads and whatever. It's much scarier when it's just like, and it's just me in the open road. And hey, can I put in the correct laps? Can I really put in laps?
It's you versus it's you and yourself. It's you versus yourself.
And that's so much scarier than you versus other people.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, I mean, when you and I go karting together, and like you get in front of me, you slow down.
Yeah. I'm like, come on, bitch, let's fucking go. Let's go. Let's have some fun.
Yeah. And now, look, Lando's won at lower categories, but now it's become a thing. It's become a thing that's
most points ever, I think, now at this point. 15. This is his 15th podium. 15 podiums.
It's like, if you can't get it up that one time, and then but the person you're with makes a thing of it, and now it's a problem, right?
Right.
Now the next time you try to do it, it's like in your fucking head.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit of ED maybe when it comes to leading races.
It can't not be in his head.
Yeah.
Should we get into our awards?
Yeah.
Let's get into our awards. Let's do Daddy of the Day.
Nico Rosberg.
Yes.
Just dragged the shit box of this weekend to like a podium.
Yep.
P3 finish.
I'm gonna give it to Fernando Alonso for that race. They fucked him strategy wise. He had that fucking baller start going on the outside. Fucking gave the people what we fucking wanted, and we say thank you, Daddy, for your fucking service. Hottest moment of the day.
And he had that save. And
the save. Fuck, yeah, that was amazing. Hottest moment of the day.
I mean, Nico coming. Nico goes, full lock. Just the ecstasy of hearing him just jizz his pants over Alonso's prowess.
I think Alonso's whip save probably is my hottest moment of the day.
Yeah.
A lot of Alonso awards.
Or Danny Ricciardo getting pegged by
by Lance. He's all up in my ass, man. Radio of the day. Daddy Muhammad said, Lewis, this car is so slow, Hamilton.
He bitches a lot about the car.
He's like, this car sucks, man.
Also, Nico, there was that great moment. This wasn't a radio, but just talk about Nico some more. When Lewis made a pass on, I think it was Hulkenberg, that was a nice pass. Toto will be happy about that. And then Nico's like, it's a Haas.
Yeah, that was fucking amazing.
Like, anytime Crofty tries to be positive, like, let me give the British people something to be happy about.
Yeah.
Nico's like, no, they should be miserable. This is bullshit. This is no but.
Yeah.
He's like Michael Scott with the gun in the improv. It's like, hey, Nico, can you not bring a gun to every improv game?
Nico doesn't give a fuck.
Incredible.
It's a Haas, Crofty. Doesn't give a shit.
Other honorary mention for hottest moments of the day.
Yeah.
One of the ladies who does very fine work for us, Malia, sent us some pickup lines.
Okay. Yeah, let's get into this.
Yeah. Did she just make them do free work for her, or is she going to go out with one of these guys? That's the question.
So basically, she said on her Hinge, as one of the prompts, like, I'm a Formula One fan, send me your best pickup line.
Yeah.
So one guy said, call me Latifi, the way you've got my head spinning, heart eye emoji. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
You stole my heart like Verstappen stole 2021. Really solid.
Yeah.
Another guy said, are you a Mercedes power unit? Because with you, I don't think I'll ever DNF. Little clunky there.
It's a bit of a thinker.
Someone else said, no pickup line. I'm just thinking of the time Danny Rick spelled out Pen 15 on Lando's lapboard and held it out to him during practice. Okay. Someone said, are you the Scuderia Ferrari team? Because it looks like you don't have any plans for the weekend. Oh, damn. That's just rude.
It's savage. It's a savage towards both parties.
I always like a girl with a nice Bottas, says one guy. Or the same guy says, I'll be the Sergio and you be my Max, the way you'll always come first. Whoa! Dude. Whoa! That was... I hadn't read these until just now. That is forward, and I don't know. I feel... Why do I feel turned on? Okay. Everyone always talks about Q1, Q2, and Q3, but you'd be the only driver to qualify at QT. Okay. Okay. Someone else said, are you Ferrari? Because I'm extremely delusional. Okay. And then the final one, if you ever fuck up, don't worry. Go out and have fun. I'll be your Logan and wait on the sideline all weekend. Aw, that one's kind of cute.
Yeah, God, it must be tough out here to get laid because these guys are putting their backs into it.
Yeah, I mean...
Must be bleak. Single life must be bleak.
I mean...
Guys out here putting out some high-quality content.
High-quality content. If I had to vote, if you want a boyfriend, I'm going for if you ever fuck up, don't worry. Go out and have fun because I'll be the Logan... I'll be your Logan and wait for you on the sideline all weekend. That sounds like a guy you can bring home to fucking mom and dad. But
one night stand is
yeah.
I'll be Sergio and you be Max, the way you'll
always come
first.
Yeah, that's if you're just looking for a good time. That's wild. That's so good. That should be... Yeah, I want more. That was entertaining.
Yeah. Hey, ladies out there, throw that on your Hinge.
Or honestly, hey, if you're also if you're a fella, and you're and you know, and hey, sexual orientation, it all fucking works. Whatever anyone. Fucking throw your prompt out there and see what the fucking
and see what flies in. And you know what? We'll give an award to whoever gives the best F1 pickup line.
That's right.
And whoever wins, and if we award,
yes,
if we say that this pickup line is the best, then whoever sent it has to fuck that person.
Yeah, Dem's the rules. Karen of the day.
I mean, it's got to be Lance Stroll just fucking plowing into Daniel Ricciardo and being like, "What was he doing, braking at a?"
Yeah, that's
idiot.
That's got to be it as well. I want to give an honorable mention. Hey, Joe, yeah, you had a weekend. You were there and you raced and you were there, and the fans were happy to see you. It was sweet, him crying at the end.
And all the camera people, like, all up in his grill.
Yeah,
up in his grill. There's a picture of people taking pictures of him, and he's just like, they're like way, like 2 inches from his face.
Yeah.
They
had he like stopped on track. They're like, here, the podium's over here, and then
I really would have been iconic if he had DNF'd, which was a possibility because Bottas, who had a monster weekend, made it to Q3, DNF'd. He's actually probably the most unflappable guy on the grid. I mean, think about how many shitty pit stops he's been through this year, and You know, he made it to Q3. They DNF'd. Yeah. Would have been iconic if he DNF'd and he had to just like walk to the part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would they have done if his car didn't finish?
I don't know. They just he just would have like came out and waved, I guess. Yeah, no, he had to finish that race. So at least he did that. At least he fucking finished that race. And then they're like, oh, and he's passing him for P18. Wow. And then like the fans are like, like, damn. Damn, it's tough out here. This is a tough sport. Other hottest moment of the weekend. Taylor Swift keeping the fucking Alonso dating rumors alive, baby.
You think she knows about them?
I think she absolutely threw that in there, knowing that it would get the press that it's getting on the Formula One side of things.
She was like, I got the NFL obsessed with me. Let me just tap the F1 world as well.
Yeah, I mean, let's see the lyric. Hold on, this was the lyric. Aston. Lyric was, small talk, big walk, act like I don't care what you did. I'm an Aston Martin that you steered straight into the ditch. She could have said Aston Martin, Mercedes-Benz. 4 syllables, right? Like, she could have said...
Oh, yeah.
Any other car.
She could have said a McLaren.
Yes.
It wasn't a happy accident.
I think that she absolutely was like, you could have chosen any car. I'm an Aston Martin that you steered straight into the ditch. Then ran and hit. And I'll tell you one thing, honey, I can take the upper hand and touch your body, flip the script and leave you like a dumb house party, or I might just love you till the end. She's still in love with Fernando Alonso, this man who is half
That's what you got.
Who is half
it's
her
like...
size and she's never met. She's still in love with him, dude.
Hey, Taylor, let it go. It's over.
Yeah.
Stop.
Let it go. And listen, Fernando, he doesn't want it. It's too triggering for him. Though, yeah, he might have posted a thing on TikTok using that lyric. And, yeah, is he absolutely playing into it and milking that for all that it's worth? Abso-fucking-lutely. But, just leave him alone, Just leave the guy alone. It's toxic what Taylor's doing to him right now. Yeah, shout out to that piece of fucking gossip. Oh, fuck, marry, kill this, the real podium, which happened to be Lando Norris, Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc. You know what? This weekend, I'm marrying Charles Leclerc. Because I think he showed moxie. I think he showed...
Marry Charles Leclerc.
Yeah. I'm going to fuck Lando, kill Perez.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm marry Charles or... Yeah, I don't want to fuck or kill either of these guys. That's the problem.
Snog, marry, pie, dude.
Yeah. All right, that's fine.
Yeah, how does this hold up to the Vegas GP?
Not even fucking
close.
close.
Not even close. Nowhere fucking close to how good that fucking race was.
0 out of 10 compared to Vegas.
Yeah, dude. Yuki will be fine. Don't worry. Okay, you motherfucking vankers.
We love you.
Goodbye, man, guys.
I don't care.